What's going on, y'all? I want to give you my review of the Audient EVO 8. This is a 4-in, 4-out USB-C audio interface, and it has a smart gain mode and loopback feature that sets it apart from other interfaces on the market. Let's take a closer look. So taking a closer look at the EVO 8, you'll notice that this is not a typical form factor for an audio interface. It has a brick form factor, and in the front you've got your DI. Got two headphone jacks in the front, which I feel all interfaces should come with at least two headphone ports. You got controls for your four inputs, smart gain button, which we'll go over a little later, phantom power here. This knob in the middle controls the gain for all the inputs as well as the output. And 1 is your output 1 and 2, 2 is your output 3 and 4. And on the back, you've got the 4 mic pre's and connections for the 4 outputs and a USB-C connection. So this comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable. I went on Amazon and got a USB 2 to USB-C cable so I can use this with my older iMac if I need it to. I'll go ahead and hook a mic up to it here. And put this into channel 1, so we'll select 1. We can increase the gain, and you should start to see some levels here. Check, check, there we go. So the smart gain feature, I'll go ahead and show that. I feel like it takes a while. It takes like 23 seconds for me timing it to work, but what this does is, we'll turn my mic gain down. We select the smart gain, select channel 1 because that's the channel we're on, press smart gain again, and you'll see that it's flashing red, and that means that it's listening to me. So I'm going to continue to talk, and what the smart gain is doing is listening to me, and it's setting the gain for this input based on how loud I'm speaking right now. So you can speak, sing, rap, play, anything, and as long as you're in the smart gain mode, it's going to listen to it and then set the appropriate level. And okay, once it stops flashing, it's done. And you can see I had the mic set low, and now you can see it set it pretty much all the way to the top for the most gain, which I believe these have 58 dB of gain on tap per each channel. And I'm using a Rode Procaster speaking. This was connected to the EVO 8 as a Rode Procaster, so it's a dynamic mic, so it needs a lot of gain. So it's set it right up there at the top. I feel like it takes a little while to work, but the times that I have used it, it has worked very well. I've used it for recording some bass, and it worked well on that, as well as me just speaking my voice into it, and it set the proper gain, whether that's a dynamic or a condenser microphone that I was speaking into it each time. And what's nice about the smart gain mode is that it works with all 4 channels simultaneously, so I can have 4 mics hooked up and can set the gain for them all that way. Phantom power, you just press the 48 volts and then select the channel you want to turn it on for. And if I switch the inputs here, if I had a phantom power on 1, we'll do it for 2, and then select 2. Now I have 48 volts going to input 2. So note about the phantom power is if you're using this with a USB-C to USB-C connection, you can phantom power all 4 inputs at the same time. If you're using a USB 2 to USB-C cable, then you can do 2 channels of phantom power. Let's talk build quality. So this is all plastic, which really worries me about it surviving multiple drops. I've already dropped it once and the knob just had popped right off. Thankfully it goes right back in and works fine, but if you're someone that's clumsy, you're gonna have to be really careful with this. This is not one of those portable audio interfaces that are built around metal. This is all plastic, so yeah, very careful about not dropping this. Regarding the outputs, interesting feature that Audient has added here. So these outputs, if you have speakers connected to them, once you plug your headphones into the front, it's going to disconnect or mute the speakers. Once you disconnect your headphones, then it's going to resume play on the speaker. So you can't have speakers and headphones going at the same time. Okay, let's take a quick look at the control panel software that comes with this interface. So this is the control software and it's just called EVO, but you can see it's a very minimal, easy to use interface that we have here. You've got gain controls here at the bottom for all of your inputs. This changes your monitor level here for monitoring, solo, mute, pan, and these controls you can hide. We can even resize this. Loopback. So loopback allows you to record the computer's audio and your microphones at the same time, which is good for streamers or podcasting. This is a feature that I haven't seen in another interface that's makes me feel like this interface can really be marketed to people outside of people who just do audio. Your output control is here, as well as you can see outputs 3 and 4 here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get one of the most important things of this review out the way. Let's take a look at how this sounds. So I've got 2 tracks here. We're going to compare the EVO 8's mic pre to the Rupert Neve 511 mic pre. I'm reading some of the product description here, and I'm using a Vanguard V4 mic to do this. So I'm going to play the first track, which is the EVO 8, and then I'll play the second track, which is the Neve 511, and then we'll compare the two. Embracing the growing culture of independent musicians, recordists, and podcasters, Audient has developed the EVO 8 USB audio interface, featuring 4 transparent EVO preamps, a JFET instrument input, class-leading converters, 24-bit 96K, ultra-low latency performance, and an innovative smart gain automatic level setting function. The EVO 8 has everything you need to start your recording journey. And this is the Neve 511. Embracing the growing culture of independent musicians, recordists, and podcasters, Audient has developed the EVO 8 USB audio interface, featuring 4 transparent EVO preamps, a JFET instrument input, class-leading converters, 24-bit 96K, ultra-low latency performance, and an innovative smart gain automatic level setting function. The EVO 8 has everything you need to start your recording journey. Okay, so now I'm going to play them and flip between the two so you can hear the immediate difference. Embracing the growing culture of independent musicians, recordists, and podcasters, Audient has developed the EVO 8 USB audio interface, featuring 4 transparent EVO preamps, a JFET instrument input, class-leading converters, 24-bit 96K, ultra-low latency performance, and an innovative smart gain automatic level setting function. The EVO 8 has everything you need to start your recording journey. Between the two, I think the Neve 511 sounds a little smoother and is a little brighter, but the EVO preamp sounds I can't believe I'm about to say this. The EVO preamp sounds good. I feel like I can get a good recording with this. And I say that I can't believe I'm going to say this because I've never been a fan of preamps in audio interfaces. They're normally muddy or a little dark or noisy, but the low mids on this EVO preamp is good and smooth. I don't feel like I need to cut anything in here. And yeah, I'm really impressed with the sound, especially when you look that you get 4 of these mic pre's in this interface, and this interface comes in at $199 US. For this sound quality, I'm really impressed. Let's take a listen to the DI now. So I've got 2 tracks here. The first track is some bass that I recorded with the DI on the EVO 8, and the second track is the Useful Arts Hornet with the color set to 0 that we recorded the same thing, the bass into the DI of the Hornet. So I'm going to play the EVO 8, and then I'm going to play the Useful Arts Hornet, and then we'll compare the two. And the Useful Arts Hornet. And now I'll play them and flip between them so you can hear the immediate difference. Okay, so between those two, I prefer the Hornet. It just sounded fuller, wider frequency response. The Evo 8 sounded a little muddy to me and a little missing some of the upper harmonics, made it a little darker between the two here. Let's move on now and let's take a look at some of the software that you get when you purchase one of these Evo interfaces. So we're on Audient site here, and here's a look at what you get when you purchase this interface. You get Cubase LE, RetroLog 2, Waldorf Edition, Loop Masters, Produce Like a Pro. What's this? Torpedo Wall of Sound. I'm not sure what that is. This Sabito piano. So like you can take your MIDI files and they'll record them with a real piano and send them back as a wave. That's kind of interesting. And Mtron Pro LE. I don't feel like this is a particularly strong add-on package here. I do like the Loop Masters. I'm a fan of that. I did install the Waldorf and I didn't like it. I quickly uninstalled it. But this other stuff I have not taken a closer look at. But this is what you get free when you purchase an Evo interface. Final thoughts on the Evo 8. So I'm really impressed with the sound quality from this. The D to A sounds good. The headphone amps are nice and loud and clear. The mic pre's sound good. So huge thumbs up for the sound quality of this preamp, especially when you look at it that it's $199 US. Let's get into what I don't like. The build quality, it being all plastic, that just scares me to drop it. This may be a little nitpicky, but if you look at the inputs on the top, you have 1 and then 3 and then 2 and then 4. We read left to right, so I found that odd. I feel like that it would go 1 and 2 on top and then 3 and 4 on the bottom. I've had this for a few months and I still, where input 3 is, I think that that's 2. And just the way my brain works, I guess. That's being a little nitpicky, but I don't understand why channels 1 and 2 are vertical versus being horizontal. And the thing that I don't like about the Evo 8 the most is, so the smart muting feature, like I said, when you unplug the headphones, it brings back the speakers. Well, what typically happens, or has happened for me so far, is that we generally drive our headphones harder than we do our speakers. So what happens is when I unplug the headphones, it makes my speakers blast because it still sees the level that was turned up for the headphones. You don't have independent control over the speaker volume and the headphone volume. And I would like to see them add some way to where the Evo can realize that when you're switching back to the speakers, it's going to remember that speaker volume and play at the volume you had set previously. Because if not, you drive the headphones hard, unplug the headphones, your speakers are going to blast. So that's the biggest thing that I don't like. That might be able to be fixed in a firmware update, possibly. I did send Audient this feedback, and they said that they would get it to their engineering team. So we'll see what happens with that. And lastly, the add-on package just isn't that strong to me. If I saw that, the add-on package, that would make me want to purchase an Evo. So, and that's my opinion about the add-ons. If you love those products, then great, that's an added benefit for you for this. But I really like the Evo, and like I said earlier, that this interface can go for people who's not just into audio. The loopback feature for people who game or podcast stream is really great for them. The smart gain feature, it's cool, but Yeah, I feel like if you're an audio engineer, you need to learn how to set your own levels. Now, if you're one of those people I just mentioned previously, streamer, video game or recording, then yeah, that's cool that you don't really have to, know much about that. You can just hit that smart gain and set your levels. But it is cool, but you're going to want to learn how to set your own levels at some point if you're getting this as an audio engineer. And I do think that the smart gain takes a little too long. I mean, I can set the level myself within 23 seconds, but the feature itself is cool. So I'm not knocking the feature itself. And one more note about the smart gain feature that I forgot to add, it does work with line level signals as well. So if you connect a standalone mic pre-line level into it, you can still use the smart gain mode. So that's my review of the Audient EVO 8. If you want to learn more about this interface, Audient has some really good content on their website, overview videos, videos showing the different features. So I'm sure I didn't cover everything in this review. So if you want to learn more, definitely head over to Audient site because there's some really good videos explaining features and more content on it. All right, any questions, comments, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time. I want to invite you to check out my podcast, the Faders Up Podcast, where we discuss pro audio and beyond. We discuss everything from recording to gear to the music business. So if you're an audio engineer, songwriter, recording artist, music producer, this podcast is for you. We recently started season 2, and we're going to have a lot of listener questions on this season, as well as some really cool guests that's lined up and giveaways as well. So if you've already subscribed and followed the podcast, thank you. If you haven't, it's available on all platforms, and I encourage you to check it out. Also, rate it and review it and let us know what you think.